Hi there, RH Negative. I'm going to do a little video for you explaining history I was given by my parents. Hopefully I can keep the volume to a level where you can hear video quality is acceptable for you, and essentially, as far as I'm aware, as far as I was brought up to understand, there are different blood groups on the planet of Earth, and as far as my parents shared with me, I have a blood group which is from this Earth, and there are other blood groups that are from other places. And so my father is A negative, and my mother is O negative, and essentially, as far as I'm aware, I've been told by my father that he's from an astral, or his DNA, his blood group is significant to an alignment that he has with an astral past, and then, or what would be in a cosmic terms, a sine wave, expression of a sine wave, or a manifestation of a sine wave. It's an astral traveller to this planet, to where my mother's people from, she being an O negative, and her bloodline coming from this planet is a tangential bloodline to this planet, to this Earth. Okay, so this is talking about monosphere that we live in, and how this Earth is home to O negative blood group. That is the natural, that is the home blood group. And then there is the A blood group, which is from a astral background. Okay, so from my father explained that to me, that he was from an astral background, and explained that my mother was from an earth background, and so that is essentially where that ends of sort of my upbringing comes into play for the benefit of blood groups. And so that is all really as far as I go with blood groups there. I could talk about how my parents, or where they fit into certain programs that are involving RH negative people, especially since World War II. My mother's ancestry comes from Palestine, and she left, or her ancestors left Palestine at the end of World War I, and travelled essentially through, so there was a point where the German National Party were looking after my mother's ancestors from Palestine, and when the German National Party lost, or were unable to win a victory against the people from where my mother's ancestors escaped, as in being the Ottoman Empire. So my mother's people escaped the Ottoman Empire at the end of World War I, where they had been held captive since Egyptian times. Okay, so Egypt captivated my mother's ancestors, and then they managed to escape their captivity at the end of World War I. And they travelled through Russia, who was ruled at the time by someone who was sympathetic to the government of Palestine, who was not happy that the captive Jewish population of O-negatives had been released or escaped during the end of World War I, and so he was obviously involved with Stalin being related to the Palestinian, or rather the larger brotherhood of, well, his family came into the Georgian Orthodoxy by proxy, and with different story, Stalin exiled my mother's people from Russia, and the German National Party gave refuge to my mother's people, as they gave refuge to European gypsies, many gypsy groups, many Jehovah's Witnesses, very many different ethnic groups in different camps, where they were able to, in the same way that the English people were building munitions and supporting the war effort. This is the situation that was my mother's people and many other groups, ethnic groups, were given under the German National Party as a Zionist, a principle of Zionism, where allowing groups of people to live under their own rules in order to produce certain jobs, better get jobs, and the idea being that obviously at the end of World War II had things worked out differently. Then every group would have been given its own ethnic region to subsist upon and define its own rules and governance independently of other regions, and allow them, and then there's the principles of Zionism, which is what was happening with World War II. And so obviously at the end of World War II, the programmes, including these, my mother's ancestors from an Rh negative background, from an O negative, specifically RHO negative background, these ancestors at the end of World War II essentially became part of various programs whereby they would give witness accounts, or they would provide information contrary to the events that actually happened, in order to allow a certain narrative to be portrayed by the victory, the Allied forces. And so what we looked at, what it is there is so my mum, born in the mid-40s, literally born at the end, well, conceived at the end of World War II, just before the end of World War II, in the time around that, and effectively was part of a programme where protection was given, anonymity, or was adopted out into England, moved to a safer location. Some were taken to America, some to England, others to other places. And my mum was one of the people taken to England, put in with a certain family, and be a part of certain programmes. So there's various things that she was involved with through those programmes. She was not necessarily 100% aware of until later on in her life. She had me quite late on in her life, when she met my father, who was from a military background, or well, from a mixed background. And basically, yeah, that's where I got some information about astral travellers, this area. I could talk a lot more about that ABO blood group, based on what from that basis of knowledge, what I then where I've taken that myself, and what I understand from my own experiences. I don't know the blood group of my children. That's one thing I don't know. I've been through quite an interesting last couple of years, and I would I don't know the blood group of their mothers either, which is a bit strange, but either way, didn't seem to be interested at the blood group thing like them, but I've had more time recently since the collapse or breakdown of things to sort of look at these mysteries of the universe, and so I thought I'd make this video for you discussing the information that I've been interested in. As far as the ABO blood group is there, apparent as far as I've moved forward with the information, the B blood group is a part of an astral travelling background too, and there are other organisms on this planet that are not from the monosphere. So essentially there's the O negative tangential humans on the planet, humanoids, and then there's astral travellers to this planet, which became the A and B blood groups, and the rhesus factor was potentially something involved with their travelling to this planet, part of their how they travel here from within the monosphere. So from another part of this, on this tangential part of the cosmos, there are beings that are from tangents parallel with this within the monosphere. There are also travellers here from literal regions within our own tangent of the monosphere. So there are other tangents parallel to this one in the monosphere that travellers have moved from those parallel tangents into this into our region of the cosmos, into our tangent. And then there are other beings as well that have come from within our own region of this monosphere. So within our own tangent, we are at Earth, and there are travellers, astral travellers, that have travelled here astrally using various technologies, and because the frequencies that were then produced on the planet by the interactions of us between ourselves, we attracted the attention of forces in the macrosphere. So if we're in the monosphere, we've had a monosphere party, and basically a macrosphere has seen what's going on here, and part of this macrosphere is created using the Oxytec principle, has penetrated the our tangent to insert cosine wave. Okay, so this is crystallization of a tangent. So what is sort of been plotted, so this recorded history is sort of the breaking up of a culture that involved certain technologies that we are able to now redevelop, and macroscopic organisms that have been created and put on this earth in order to insert RNA sequences, in order to generate certain frequencies, in order to feed macroscopic organisms with our sentient frequencies. So that's what the dynamic that I'm aware of. I think I can only upload up to 15 minutes anyway, so I'm going to cut this video off, and I'll go back into how the cosmology is useful if you're looking at modern day current affairs. Okay, and the idea of having a cosmology, the things that are happening on TV, the things in current affairs, the news, anyway, I don't watch the news, so this is the cosmology that I work with, is where I'm working. So it's basically all I'm sort of going to make another video about something like that. If you've got any questions, happy to answer your questions. I like questions. Thank you for watching. All the best.